Through the inside, go. We competing today.
No, there you go.
We're moving.
This is Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh, presented by FanDuel.
After a bye week, the Jets start a 12-game stretch this afternoon in New England against the Patriots. Coming up, we'll check in with head coach Robert Saleh and hear from both Brian Baldinger and Ethan Greenberg. But we start, as always, with Bart Scott and Leger Douzable. Bart, in the long run, can this early bye actually help the Jets?
Well, maybe in certain instances, and you have to make sure every time you have a bye, no matter where it is, you use it as a positive thing. And so for the Jets who struggled, and it was a good opportunity early on to self-scout, figure out how teams are attacking you, figure out where you're coming up short, what you have to do. And I hope that they took a long look at this run game and figuring out how teams are playing their young quarterback and how they can get this running game started. Because if they can't get this running game started, it's going to be a much longer season than it's already been.
Leger, you have a fascinating perspective because you were coached up by Robert Saleh. He talked about making subtle changes during the bye week. What do you think that meant?
Yeah, there's a couple things I think Coach Saleh will do. And a lot of coaches, they have their padded practice on Thursday because they want more time for guys to heal from the game on Sunday. I think he might switch that and go to Wednesday. That way his team is a lot fresher going into the game. So Thursday will be no pads, Friday will be no pads, Saturday will be a walkthrough. Another subtle thing I think he might do is have an up-tempo period, right, just to get this offense going. Because we've seen it. The Jets have started really slow in games, and it's put them behind the 8-ball in games. So maybe having an up-tempo practice or up-tempo period, that way his offense can get going and get in the rhythm to start the game fast.
What does an up-tempo period mean in terms of changing it up at practice?
Well, it's like muddle huddles, right? It's starting to get to the line. Sometimes when you think about young quarterbacks, you see with veteran quarterbacks as well, when you go no huddle, it takes the thinking out. It also puts the defense in a predictable type of set, right? Because you can't really communicate too much because you're continuing to get to the line of scrimmage. So now it's hard for them to sub out. You catch them with a certain personnel that they can't get out of, and you think about these offenses having versatile players who can, break the formation. Tight ends can line up in receiver spots, and if they get the matchup they want, But it's important if you're going to do that, you have to win on first down because first down is really the drive starter. So that comes off of usually a first down. You get a first down, then we go into our muddle huddle, our up-tempo type of offense. And you see it's not so much a 2-minute, but what it is making sure that you keep the same personnel out there and getting the defense stuck out there, understanding that once you get past 2 to 3 plays, the pass rush slows down and defenses only have very limited predictable coverages.
So Bart is a sports car guy. He's always talking about speed. The Jets definitely have to increase their tempo. Can they hang their hat on what they're doing on both lines of the scrimmage right now?
Yeah, and I think going into this week versus the New England Patriots, that's something that the Jets offense can hang their hat on. They were able to run the ball for over 150 yards. And anytime you're playing a 3-4 team and you're running a zone scheme type offense, you're going to have success because those big guys up front, those 3 defensive linemen, they don't like moving laterally. They don't like moving east and west. So you can get those guys on different level, and then your offensive guards can climb up to the linebackers. And we saw that last week versus the Dallas Cowboys. They had some success running the zone play with Ezekiel Elliott, running it with Tony Pollard. And then on the defensive side of the ball, you feel like the defensive line really controlled that front from the Patriots the first time they played. Now, Damian Harris had that one big run, but besides that, the defensive line played really well, played stout, and then they got after Mac Jones, got a few sacks on him. So I think that's something that the Jets really can hang their hat on is the play from the offensive line to defensive line going into this game versus the New England Patriots.
But when you think about Robert Saleh, he's new to this division.
Yeah.
And understand that Bill Belichick over there is on the other side. And you may not get the same game plan. Something may be totally different than what it was before. So what you have to do is make sure that you prepare for the counter. And you have to have a counter to the counter because Bill is going to look at the film and say, hey, they took advantage of these certain type of fronts. So now he may switch things up. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out in the 4-3.
Yep.
He has the flexibility to do that. All he has to do is take a guy like Jamie Collins, instead of putting him at the end, put him in the linebacker spot, kick everything out, and now they just go to 2-gap.
Well, save some of that juice for later because coming up after the break, we'll go one-on-one with Jets head coach Robert Saleh.
Now it's time to go inside the walls, brought to you by FanDuel.
I know down the line you want the bye later in the season, but why was it good for you last week to take a step back with the rest of the staff?
You know, anytime you don't start fast and you just, you have a young group and it, a lot happens to these guys. I mean, we're getting significant playing time from 9 rookies. I think we lead the NFL in snaps by rookies, and you go through OTAs and training camp and preseason, and then you get this first 5 weeks of the season. I think it was a good time to just step back, take a deep breath, and just hit the reset button. And just schematically, obviously, just trying to figure out what the quarterback is comfortable with. Same thing defensively. What is the defense comfortable with, so we can get some more 3-and-outs. Scheduling wise, just tweaking with the schedule a little bit to just kind of match the game with our body clocks a little bit. So it's they're subtle. It's not about a grab bag or a wholesale change and trying to change everything. But to try to make things, do things that are sound, that make sense, that not only a coach but a player can look at and say, okay, you know what, that makes sense. And rather than trying to reinvent the wheel, just do things that are in line with the philosophy of their organization and the direction that we're trying to go to.
You told Zach Wilson, get some rest. Do you think the rookie followed your advice? Because he can't get enough of this. No. And even if he gets away, I gotta imagine he's probably studying everything. He's probably texting you.
Yeah, I don't think he listened. No, he's a sharp young man, and this game is very important to him. That's why we love him so much. I mean, he eats and breathes and just sleeps. Everything is football, and even for him, just to step away, get a small break. But that's one of the things that we love about him, and that his relentless pursuit to be great, and to figure out how he can get better every single day. And he had again came back from the bye. It looked like he was fresh, and now it's just a matter of stacking it up, going out Sunday, and having a great day.
You talk about the importance of playing good complementary football. We saw some of that in London against the Falcons, the 2 takeaways, and then the long kickoff return from Tevin Coleman. Now you just got to put all 3 phases together over 4 quarters.
No, for sure. I don't think enough is said about our special teams unit. I think Brant Boyer's been doing a fantastic job. He's, for as youthful as we are on offense and defense, it just makes him even more youthful on special teams. And, those first couple games, as they were trying to get their footing, lose your punter, Mo steps in. He's been doing a great job. Amendola's been doing a great job. Tevin stepping up and really kickstarting that second half in Atlanta, and Hardy's been a war daddy on the outside. So just overall with the special teams unit and the way they've been performing, it's been awesome. And when you get all 3 phases clicking and everyone is playing off one another, defense getting takeaways, offense possessing the ball, special teams winning the field position battle, it's very, very hard not to win in this league, and that's something that we got to continue to strive to get better at.
So how encouraged are you by the play of the offensive line and defensive line, especially of late?
Yeah, the offensive line, over the last few games has done a really nice job. Love to get the running game going, obviously, but overall, just really happy with the way they've gelled and come together and given Zach time to throw the football. And defensively, I feel like it's been the whole season where that front has been imposing its will, and as the back end gets faster, it'll only get louder in terms of the overall play of the defensive line.
Why has the pass protection been immeasurably better?
There's a few things. Obviously, continuity and playing with one another. That group was the one that was playing with one another during training camp when Mekhi had missed the time he did during training camp. And you just get used to the play caller, you get used to the timing of it all, you get used to playing next to somebody, and obviously you just get more comfortable in the position and the things that you're being asked to do. So just progressively doing the same things over and over again, you just get better and better.
What goes into a second meeting with a divisional opponent, and one you faced in week 2, so that wasn't too long ago?
No, it's it's the same. Same things, right? They've got things that they like to do. We've got things that we like to do, and understanding that there's a lot of familiarity with regards to personnel, and just putting yourself in position to be successful. Have enough curveballs, have enough changeups to take care of the fastballs that we both know we're going to throw. And so there's little nuances into playing an opponent, not only this year, but next year and the years to come, where it's like, you've played each other so many times, how many different changeups can you throw at one another while keeping your fastball strong?
Do you have to anticipate those curveballs when you go up to at bat? Because everything about the Patriots, they change week by week, right?
Yeah, and Josh McDaniels is one of the best in football in terms of attacking your run-pass conflicts, attacking coverages, attacking individuals, and trick plays every week will pop up. And so you just got to keep your head on the swivel. You got to stay disciplined, be great with your eyes, and absorb all their change-ups, and hopefully you get your change-ups past them. So it's a little chess match in there, but something that makes division games fun.
This is such a young group. They have to tell them about the importance of divisional games. I know that sounds elementary, but you are working with a tremendously green group.
No, it's division games are always fun, but they're not the end all be all. It's still a championship moment and a championship opportunity. It's no different than playing Carolina and no different than playing Denver. It's another opportunity to show that you're a champion, and it's a championship moment. And so you attack each game with that mindset, regardless of whether it's Monday Night Football, Thursday night, Sunday at 1 o'clock. It doesn't matter. You own your moments and you dominate when you can.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Hey, Jets fans, as you stock up for game day this season, keep an eye out for specially marked Pepsi products for your chance to win exciting Jets prizes from Pepsi, the official soft drink of the New York Jets. Coming up, Brian Baldinger takes a look at what to expect out of New England, and Ethan Greenberg will preview Week 7 in the AFC East. Stay tuned. Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh is brought to you by FanDuel.
Welcome back, Eric Allen with Bart Scott and Leger Douzable. Bart, I'm going to put you on the hot seat. Who has been the most impressive Jets rookie to date?
For me, of course, I'm going to go defensive. For me, it has to be Michael Carter II. You think about what he's asked to do, be out there on that island. It's not just been cover 3, it's been cover 1. He's been outstanding. He's been really one of the bright spots. The fact that we had a lot of concerns coming into the season about the secondary and the defense, the defensive backs, especially the cornerbacks, and the fact that you don't make any news, you don't see anything about a lot of blown coverages, a lot of explosive plays. And what I've been most impressed is they've been willing and capable of coming up and being able to put their face mask in there and be physical and setting the edge and being the force defender on the running game.
All right, on the other side of the ball, how can the Jets get Elijah Moore going? Robert Saleh on this show last week said he feels like a breakout is coming.
Yeah, this is a guy that was Weapon X at Ole Miss, so there's a couple of different things Mike LaFleur can do to implore and help Elijah Moore get acclimated into this offense. One, I think, is run some bunch sets with him. That way he can run some combination routes, get underneath some shallow crossers, things that he did at Ole Miss. Also, put him in the slot. That's where he was really comfortable at Ole Miss. And then put him in the backfield. We see it time and time again, offensive coordinators, whether it's Cooper Kupp with the LA Rams, put him in the backfield. That way he has a mismatch versus a linebacker in space. Get this guy in space, and then speed sweep is a big thing. He should get 2 of those a game, maybe an end around on a reverse. Get this guy in space. He's an explosive athlete once you get the ball in his hand.
It's all about complementary football. We know that. For more on the Patriots, though, let's get to Brian Baldinger.
Thanks, EA. This week, I want to take a look at Mac Jones and how well he played last week in a loss to the Dallas Cowboys. Let's get into the mindset of Mac Jones and what the Jets are up against. The fourth quarter Sunday, that ball bounced off the receiver's fingertips, Kendrick Bourne, and Trayvon Diggs took it to the house to give the Cowboys the lead. But that lead didn't last long. The next play, Mac Jones changed the play at the line of scrimmage. The very next play, after the Cowboys took the lead, then he went right back to Kendrick Bourne on a double move and made this throw. Beats the safety and the corner, and Kendrick Bourne goes 75 yards, giving the Patriots the lead. And then they went for 2, so they could go up 3 points here at the end of the fourth quarter, and he makes this throw off his third read to Jacoby Myers. And then he makes these kind of plays. Like, look, here comes Jaron Kearse, number 27, all over him, draped over him. But look at this throw. Look at the anticipation as he gets pulled to the ground and where that ball ends up. This guy is accurate, he's tough, and he's resilient. He's a hard guy to knock down and to really get off his game. He's got a lot to him.
This is the AFC East Roundup.
Taking a look around the AFC East, let's start with the Dolphins, who take on the Falcons in South Florida. Atlanta's coming off a bye. Miami coming off a 3-point loss to Jacksonville in London. Now, the Finns have dropped 5 in a row, but the silver lining in last week's game, Tua Tagovailoa back in the saddle for the Dolphins. You take a look at his numbers weeks 1 and 2. These are a little askew because he got hurt in week 2 and then he was placed on IR. Then you take a look at last week's game. Threw for over 300 yards for the first time this season, posted a 95.1 quarterback rating, 2 touchdowns and interceptions while completing 70.2% of his passes. Meanwhile, the Bills are on a bye this week after a heartbreaking loss on Monday Night Football to the Titans. Josh Allen remained hot, threw for 353 yards, 3 touchdowns, while completing almost 75% of his passes. But the Bills' defense, well, they got Henry. Titans running back Derrick Henry ran for 143 yards and 3 touchdowns while averaging 7.2 yards per carry. Now, the Bills' defense was the NFL's number 3 rushing defense. The Jets back in action after a week off, closing out their season series against the Patriots before even playing another team in the division. So how will the green and white perform out of the bye? Well, kickoff is around the corner.
Don't go away. We're back talking Jets Patriots right after this. Now recruiting wide retrievers and fee linebackers. Want to see your pet on the big screen at MetLife Stadium? Enter now at NewYorkJets.com/MetLifePet. Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh is brought to you by MetLife.
Welcome back. Eric Allen with Bart Scott, Leger Douzable. Bart, 1 o'clock today, Jets Patriots. How different is this rivalry from when you were playing?
Of course it's different, right? Because finally they have a mortal behind the center position. So now I think it's more even. You know, when you got the greatest of all time, it's always going to be, one-sided at times because the talent is just so good. The Jets have to even it up at 1-1. They got to go take care of business. If not, then the Patriots are going to continue to think that they own us no matter who's behind center.
How crazy is it, Leger, to look at the NFL standings and see not only that the Patriots are 2-4, but they're 0-4 at home.
Yeah, it's what Bart just said, right? Tom Brady isn't walking through that door right now. It's kind of revamped team. They spent a lot of money in free agency to bring a couple tight ends, a couple defensive players. They have a young rookie quarterback there, and they've struggled. They've lost some close games now. Yeah. The close game, week 1 versus the Miami Dolphins. This last past game versus the Dallas Cowboys came down to the wire. So this is a team that we know who the Patriots are. They're not going to beat themselves. They're going to have methodical drives. They're going to try to go 10 to 14 play drives and score at the end of those drives. And we know with Bill Belichick, they're going to play great defense.
All right, so you alluded to it before. What do you take from that Week 2 matchup as opposed to what you've seen from the Patriots of late?
Nothing other than the fact that we ran the ball, right? So now if you think about it, you can be able to run the ball, but it's going to be different. And it's important. Always when you play the Patriots, it's important to pay attention to the first 15 plays because you're going to get multiple formations, you're going to get multiple personnels, but then you're going to understand what the theme of the day is, whether it's pick routes, rut routes, and they're just going to give you the same thing. The Patriots have never been about being complex. It's been about execution, and it's important not only for the players but for the coaches to understand what that first drive means and get that information and be able to adjust your plan accordingly.
Where are some matchup advantages for the Jets?
Well, if you look at it, what Bart just talked about, the running the football, and that's something that Dallas did really well in the zone scheme versus the New England Patriots this past week. And then off of that, making everything look exactly the same. Bootlegs is going to be a big ask this week from Mike LaFleur and his offense, and that's something I think Zach Wilson is comfortable doing anyway. As Bart said, you're not going to see the same thing from this Bill Belichick defense. He's going to bring up some different things. He blitzed a lot last time, went cover 1. I would not be surprised if he switches it up, goes more zone this time, with still some, cover 1 on 3rd down because he likes his defensive backs. And also, you have to realize the seams is where you have to attack this team, right? Juwan Bentley in coverage has really struggled. Get one of your tight ends, whether if Tyler Kroft comes back this week or Griffin, get him down the seam one-on-one with Juwan Bentley. And then the running back out of the backfield. Dallas killed New England with that last week when they played. Getting the ball to the running back out of the backfield, give some easy throws to Zach Wilson. You'll have success on offense if you do that.
Are you ready?
Let's do it, man. I had a whole week off. Of course, I got nothing else to do.
Does it get any better in the division football? Enjoy Jets Patriots. We'll see you next week.